Hello 7th graders, I hope you have been doing well. Today we are going to be talking about lesson 1.4. Okay, so 1.4 is all about subtracting integers. So the last 2 days we've been talking about adding integers. Today we're going to be talking about subtracting integers. Alright, so our learning target is I can subtract using this key term, adding the opposite. Adding the opposite. Alright, so when I talk about adding the opposite, you're going to hear me refer to keep, change, change quite a bit, okay? So let's talk about adding the opposite. So in our boxes down here, our top box is all about adding the opposite. So you can write add the opposite again. Alright, so what adding the opposite means is you are going to add the additive inverse, which is its opposite. So instead of subtracting, we're going to add the inverse. Okay? So what that means is if we're looking at 5 minus negative 3, we are going to keep the 5. That's going to stay the same, okay? And then we are going to change the minus sign to a positive, and then change the negative 3 to a positive 3. Okay, so let's practice this. So I'm going to rewrite the same problem. 5 minus a negative 3. So it always helps me to label, keep, change, change. So my 5 is going to stay the same. But now I'm going to change this minus sign to a plus sign. Change this negative 3 to a positive 3. So now we can easily figure out 5 plus 3 is 8. Okay, so that's what keep, change, changes, or add the opposite. Now, this only works when we are subtracting. Alright, let's practice a few more. So, negative 7 minus 7. I always write keep, change, change. So my negative 7 is going to stay the same. I'm changing the minus sign to a plus sign, and I'm changing this positive 7 to a negative 7. Alright, now you can choose to either use a number line and subtract these, or add these numbers, or you can use the zero pairs, which I'm going to use. So I have a negative 7, so that tells me I'm using 7 minus signs. 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm also adding 7 minus signs. Now, all of these are minus signs, so none of them can cancel out. So what that means is I'm just going to add them all up. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 negatives. Now, a hint that I told you in a couple of videos ago, but if both of my numbers here are negative, I can just add them. 7 plus 7 gives me 14, but since they were both negative, I need to make sure I add that negative sign in there. And then you don't need to draw all of these minuses out. Save yourself a little work. Alright, so let's try number 2. Negative 2 minus a negative 4. We are going to use keep, change, change. Okay? So my negative 2 is going to stay the same. My minus sign here is going to change to a plus sign. and my negative 4 here is going to change to a positive 4. So now I have negative 2 plus 4. So I have 2 negatives, and I have 4 positives. We're going to cross out our 0 pairs. Those 2 cancel out, so I am left with 2 positives. Now another hint that I like to do when I see a problem that looks like this is we know by the commutative property that I can switch these numbers around as long as I keep my signs attached. Okay, so I have a positive 4 minus 2. And if you don't want that positive sign in front, you don't need to keep it. What is 4 minus 2? Right, it's just 2, which is exactly what we got there. Okay? Trying to give you little hints as we go so that this gets a little easier and you start to visualize, because when I was in pre-algebra, I really struggled with this, and I want to give you as many tips and tricks as I can so that you don't struggle like I did. Okay? So now we're going to look at number 3. Not number 13. Number 3. I see that I'm subtracting. I know when I'm subtracting, I can do keep, change, change. So I'm going to keep the negative 13. Then I'm going to change my minus sign to a plus sign. Change my negative 5 to a 5. Alright? So now what we're going to do is we are going to do our 0 pairs. So I have 13 minus signs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, I think that was 13. And now I am going to add 5 plus signs. 1, 2. Alright, let's find our 0 pairs and cross them out. Those ones cross out. So what am I left with? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 negative signs. So my answer then is negative 8. Alright, let's look at number 4. 7 minus 9. I see that minus sign there, which tells me I'm going to use keep, change, change. Alright, my 7 is going to stay the same. My positive sign is, or my negative sign is going to change to a positive, and my 9 is going to change to a negative 9. Now remember, you have to write it in parentheses so that we don't have two operations together like this. That's too hard to look at and too confusing, so you have to make sure you put that negative sign in there. Alright, so now let's find our 0 pairs. I have 7 positives. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I have 9 negative signs. Alright, now let's use our 0 pairs and cross them out. Those ones cancel, those cancel. Got a lot canceling this time. What am I left with? Right, I'm left with these 2 negatives. So my answer is negative 2. Alright, your assignment right now is to complete C.9 on IXL. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me so that I can help you. I hope you have a great day, 7th grade, and I will see you later. Bye.